Alright. So when we're talking about role play, any text-based game, first of all, you have to learn the basic commands. And you look at a list like this, I don't know if all mods have this, but you've got things like address, applaud, arm fold, what your arm wave is, bat your eyes, backslap. You want to find out what the game has for you, and then try to, within this, figure out what your character may or may not do. Are they one of those people who hiss it? You know, maybe they hiss when they say things with a lot of S's in them. Maybe they laugh a lot. Maybe they're kind of touchy-feely. So they're somebody who does like nuzzles their friends or hugs everybody. Maybe they're, you know, they scowl. So you have your base emotes here to kind of pick from. Then we start talking about free emoting. And free emoting is things like this. So emote stands here with his arms crossed. Just like you could do in a D&D session, the ability to emote, especially in role-play and force games, allows you the freedom to describe what is happening with your character. Now, I like to try and reduce it as much as possible. So right there, that kind of gives you the idea. You know, standing here with his arms crossed. So you can kind of get a feeling. You could also try to relay that with body language. The words that we speak it's a tiny bit of our communication. And when role-playing, especially in a text game, sometimes it's nice to give non-verbal communication and to give them cues. So instead of standing here with the arms crossed, raises his eyebrows slightly at man. So what everyone else would see is I raised his eyebrows slightly at a broad-shouldered man. That in tech, you're actually able to target people. So that's what I've done, is I've targeted the man in the room with my emote. In this game as well, you're actually able to move where you sit. So you can also do an emote like a tiny sigh escapes from at mouth as he continues his lessons. No! We need to emote that. So, tiny sigh escapes from my character's mouth as he continues his lessons. Within tech, there's the ability to do emoting like this. Again, I recommend that you start small. So you start with your smiles, your grins, your squints, your waggles, your yelling, yawn, whatever it may be. And as you hang out with people and as you get to like role play with people, you can kind of think about what your character might do and then try to translate that into things like I've done here. So that was the first part. I wanted to talk about, you know, roleplay mods that have those social emotes that are already there. You know, like kissing, panting when you're, you know, hot or tired, you know, pace, ruffle, screaming, snicker, all of those sort of things that start to build the character to have like more than just one dimension, and that next second and third dimension is trying to figure out, well, the second dimension is, starting to give people an understanding of how they feel or what they're doing by giving them extra information. Stands here with his arms crossed, or raises his eyebrows, or even exasperation. A tiny sigh escapes Evandra's mouth. The next part I wanted to talk about is kind of the third part when you're role playing your character, is realizing that your desires may be different than your characters, and this is kind of a hard one for some people, but I really feel it gives a third dimension and rounds your characters out. There are times when this is a good idea, this is a bad idea, but your character may not necessarily. Just recently I had a character who had something stolen from them, and I knew that I could mechanically keep that player there, but I didn't. I let the player go, even though mechanically I had the means to be able to do so. That helps round out interactions and your characters. There are times when your character may have a goal that happens organically in the game, and you got to play it out. Whether it's the cute boy or girl who walks along, somebody introduces them to a new organization, maybe they find a new battleground that they've never been to. I think that playing those through and letting your character be more than just a yawn or a wink elevates it, and it elevates it for people around you. You interact with more people, you have more consistent role play. The more that your character does things that take on a life of their own versus what you as a player think is best for them, should help you find more enjoyment in your role play. I know that when I've played D&D, when you sit down at a table, maybe you don't know everybody, but if you bring a character that's just kind of like, I'm here to murder things, okay, that's a natural part of the game. Same whether it's conflict or PvP in your mud, or it's like hacking and slashing and going for levels. But if you have an additional part to them, there's more to them. Maybe they're like a secret spy, or maybe they talk a lot of game, but they're really a virgin, or whatever it may be. And then there's that third part of letting them actually take on a life of their own, and you, as kind of the puppet master, let them play it out to their own detriment or success. Those are your kind of dimensions of roleplay. And again, everybody's different. Some people like to keep roleplay very organic. They want to only let things happen in the game, so they search and explore and meet everybody. And then others play very much like, I know everything, but I'm just going to trim out the information I need and just kind of do what I want to do. I don't think there's one correct way to roleplay. I think that if you're enjoying it, and through your interactions others are having an enjoyable time, even if their characters aren't, but you can see the shared interaction, the conflict, or was fun, then that's a good thing. And that's going to be kind of it for the dimensions of roleplay. I wanted to kind of just start with the basics of looking at your character, building another dimension, try to rounding it out and let them be real. And I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of having it be like a Dungeons and Dragons game where your character takes on a life of their own. Even though you're just a bearded dude chilling in front of his computer, you can give a character more life by rounding them out and having them be more than just grin. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.